Welcome back as we continue with Program 3 in the Shielded Metal Arc Welding series. In this, the final program of this module, we will demonstrate how to perform welds on 3 common types of joints, namely a square butt joint on 6mm plate, a single Vee Butt joint on thick plate, and a T-joint on 6mm plate. In this exercise, we shall demonstrate the double-sided welding of a square butt joint using 6mm mild steel plate. The task begins with the basic preparation of the workpieces. The plates must be cleaned to remove any rust and scale. When clean, set the plates onto a suitable platform or jig and then establish a root gap between them. A root gap is necessary in order that proper penetration of the welding wire is obtained. The root gap spacing should be equivalent to the wire thickness of the selected electrode. In this demonstration, we shall use 3.15mm electrodes. The next step is to tack the plates. The welding current is set to between 100 and 120 amps, which is recommended for the electrode size that we are using. A short tacking bead is now made at one end of the joint. To ensure a strong tacking bead, strike the arc directly into the root and make a 5mm run. After the first tack, check the horizontal alignment of the plates, as this may change owing to the pull of the weld. Where necessary, flatten the alignment by striking the underside of the tacking bead upon a flat surface. Having checked and reset the alignment, recheck the root gap, as this may have opened up. Reset the gap in a suitable manner, and then place the work back onto the platform. Tack the opposite end of the joint. Next, chip and clean both tacking beads prior to making the full weld. The welding run is performed in almost exactly the same manner as you learnt when you laid stringer beads. One obvious difference, however, is that you are now going to weld into a gap. If you have set the root gap width to the size of the electrode's wire, then the weld will span the gap. Hold the electrode directly in line with the gap. The angle of the electrode should be maintained at no more than 20 degrees in the direction of travel. Make a stringer bead along the root gap using exactly the same technique that you practiced earlier. At the end of the run, bring the electrode back over the bead and lift it away to break the arc. When the slag has frozen, or set hard, then chip it away and inspect the bead. When we turn the work over, you will notice that the weld has penetrated almost through to the underside. As we will be running a bead on this side as well, we must chip the groove and remove any slag to avoid inclusions, which will otherwise weaken the joint. The second stringer bead can now be laid in exactly the same manner as the first. Try to keep a steady speed and a constant arc length to ensure a good, strong weld. When the weld has been completed, clean it up and inspect or read the welds on both sides, checking to see that they conform to the specifications of a good weld.